What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Takwin. Today we have some juicy Halo Reach PC flight news to get into. Really quickly before we start, I'd like to point out that close to 90% of you guys watching are actually not subscribed to the channel, which is something that kind of surprised me. So if you're new here and you've been enjoying the content, I would like to extend a kind invitation to click the subscribe button. It helps me along the long and arduous road to 100,000 subscribers. If not, no worries. I love you anyway. Thank you for watching.
Am I right, Marine? Sir, yes, sir.
All right, before we hop back into the forum post, we got some amazing news announced by Tashi at 343 HCS and Twitch. It is a Twitch Rivals esports event called Legends of Halo. So I guess it's going to be a Halo Reach PC tournament. You have 4 team captains, Snipe Down, T-Squared, Fear Itself, and Lethal, and they're going to choose other Halo streamers as their teammates, and they're going to duke it out in a tournament live, which is really awesome. It's really cool to see the HCS team at 343 organize something like this. Kudos to Tashi and everyone over there. It's going to be happening November 12th at twitch.tv/Twitch Rivals. I'm going to be there in the chat. Really sounds like something to not miss. So with that, let's get back into it. All right, getting back into things. So 343's community manager Sketch actually posted a PC Halo Reach update yesterday on the Halo Waypoint forums. He basically talks about the issues that have been reported, what they think are the causes of those issues, and the patch that they're actually getting ready to roll out to hopefully address some of those issues. So I'll probably make potentially another video when that patch comes out. But so for now, this is what he says. We are deep into our Halo Reach PC flight, also known as Flight 3, and we appreciate everyone who's putting in the time to play and provide critical feedback. This flight began on October 29th and was originally scheduled to run through November 5th, but earlier this week we made the call to keep the good times rolling for at least another week. And they include a schedule of everything going on up until November 12th as well. The flight extension was basically just to give 343 and Creative Assembly more time to figure out what is actually causing the issues that are present. You guys got to remember that the whole point of a test flight is to solve these issues. And I saw a lot of comments on my previous video talking about, oh my gosh, like this is a nightmare. There's all these problems that have like arisen. What I have to say to that is just what I just said. You know, flights are meant to figure out and solve issues. This isn't even really technically a beta. It's just a test flight, right? And let me reiterate, we are playing this flight to solve these problems. This isn't just a recreational thing that exists just for our entertainment. We're here to provide feedback and try to make the game better at launch. Anyways, Sketch continues on saying, we're not entirely sure what the new end date of the flight will be. It's largely dependent on when the patch is ready, clears Ring 1 and Ring 2 testing, underway now. For those of you who do not know, 343, they have a ring system in terms of green lighting flights and patches where they have Ring 1, which is like the core team, and then once they get no issues and solve it there, they push it to Ring 2, which is like a more, you know, or I guess a bit less exclusive group of people. And then Ring 3 is us, basically, the people playing the flight who have been invited. We want to ensure that there's enough time after the patch for players to check everything out and provide updated feedback, so it's quite likely that we're going to keep the lights on a bit longer. A lot of folks are asking if this means we'll add more users to the current flight. That is to be determined at the moment, but we'll let you know and keep you posted. We do expect the Windows 7 blocking issue to be resolved with this patch, so it stands to reason at a minimum we'd likely add some Windows 7 users to help test Reach on that platform. And also, yeah, that's another issue they've been having with Windows 7. The flight just has not been working on Windows 7 platforms, and that's been like kind of a big issue that you guys may not have heard too much about. Moving on, Sketch actually details all the problems that 343 and Creative Assembly are aware of with this flight and kind of talks a little bit about why they're happening, or why they think they're happening, and kind of the fixes they've got in mind for them. Starting off with mouse input, this is a big one. He says, reports of mouse input issues, latency, concerns have come in from a number of players, and it is a top priority for the team. This feedback is generally new to Flight 3 for the most part. Mouse feedback from Fireflight, which was a previous flight that they had on PC, which was just firefight modes. He said it was quite positive, the feedback. We believe a few things that changed in the build, along with the fact that this flight is multiplayer focused, has contributed to the increase in feedback for mouse, quote, feel. This isn't a trivial matter. While many users have expressed concern and negative experiences, many others have stated it feels good. Further, we've seen a few different creative solutions from the community where the issue went away entirely if they changed mouse hardware or adjusted a setting. We are taking this seriously and do believe there is something going on here, but it's not a clear-cut issue or solution thus far. He continues, one thing we are aware of is that playing above 60 FPS does seem to introduce additional input delay. Side note, not for me. Putting on uncapped frame rate is actually where I get better input delay results. So this, I don't know if it's just my case or what, but That's just my experience. He says, while ideally this should not be the case, our tests have shown it can happen. Remember that this game was originally built for 30 FPS, not even 60 FPS, and certainly not uncapped frame rate. Support for VFR variable frame rate is experimental. When this patch released, the variable frame rate option in the settings menu will be removed from the build. This is not intended to be a final solution to this issue. Let me say that one more time. It's not intended to be a final solution. They're not going to get rid of the variable frame rate option here. They're just deactivating it temporarily to see if this actually improves it so they can narrow down what is potentially causing the input delay issue with mouse and keyboard. This experimental feature, VFR, will come back in some form for release. Continuing, but we are seeing that a majority of players giving feedback are indeed running above 60 FPS, so we'd like to eliminate that variable from the equation and see how it affects people's experience. Additionally, the team discovered an issue where mouse input could be at a lower CPU priority than it should be, which is kind of interesting. So this could also result in some input delays. This is addressed in the upcoming patch, and we're eager to see if players notice an improvement with these two adjustments, along with incorporating the latest and greatest code base. Work continues on this, and we appreciate everyone who has taken extra time to share more detailed reports, analysis, and have tried various troubleshooting techniques of their own as we tackle this issue together. So this is really great to hear that they know this is a very big problem, and they've received lots of reports, so it is something that they have very high on their priority list to try to fix, and so hopefully this patch does something positive, and we see some improvement there, and they can kind of narrow in on the issue.
Red bean alien bastard.
So moving on to server issues. Some players have reported less than ideal matchmaking experiences on dedicated servers, citing issues with hit detection and other latency related problems. This is a top priority for the team, and there have already been a few behind the scenes changes as investigations continue and a few promising discoveries. I have heard from people in the EU crowd, you guys over in the across the pond in the land of Europe, that server performance is not ideal, and you're having kind of some laggy games. I haven't experienced that myself, but obviously I am in the United States, relatively close to their server centers, so I'm obviously not going to really have that issue. But I have seen lots of reports that people in Europe have been having laggy games, so it's good that they know that's a thing.
I don't care if it's God's own anti-son of a bitch machine or a giant hula hoop.
Next up, which is a big one that a lot of people have been complaining about, chat filtering. So he says, evidently, having your text chat aggressively filtered is something players really do not like! Exclamation point. We've heard you loud and clear, even with the filters enabled. We're not thrilled with this implementation either, so for the time being, text chat filtering is being removed from the build with the upcoming patch. This is great, in my opinion. Obviously, I'm not upset about not being able to say a handful of swear words, but the issue is it kind of over-censors things. It makes it really awkward to chat sometimes. And as a whole, I don't like the idea of censorship. I get why maybe they would want to have it for just certain words, right? But it really goes overboard. I've had really just absurd things censored, and so have other people. So yeah, text chat filtering is being removed from the build with the upcoming patch. As for the longer term plan, he continues, that is still to be determined, but we agree that an over-aggressive filter isn't the ideal outcome. Oh, and I'm also told the default key to chat is changing, and the team is working on allowing proper key binding of this function. So that's great too. The text chat default button is T, and I accidentally hit that sometimes, which is more my fault than theirs, but it's cool to see that it's the default chat key is being changed. So not only do players not enjoy having their words filtered, it turns out they also don't enjoy having a full-time hot mic while playing. We do not like that either. And then parentheses, true story, I almost got myself into trouble playing at my desk with my mic picking up office chatter. We don't expect this to be changed with this next patch, but the team is working on it. So in my experience, my mic isn't actually hot. I've tested this and told my teammates to put something in the chat if they can hear me multiple times, and they cannot hear me. So it's just that little indicator will show up on your screen, but from my experience, when you turn your voice chat off, it's not actually still transmitting your voice.
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
Progression. He says, we've gotten some great feedback around this new area of the game and have gotten even greater data from folks just playing. Earlier this week, changes were made to adjust the tuning and XP earn rates, and the team is continuing to monitor data and feedback to get it dialed in. Let us know how it feels now that some initial tweaks have been made. So I've actually noticed this myself. You get way more XP from playing games than you did before, and I'm pretty stoked about it. I just hope it's not too much, because I did enjoy the very grinding nature of it before. That's just me. Obviously, no one's going to like a crazy grind, but I do agree that they should have increased it the amount of XP you get per game. So I am happy with that change.
Usually the good Lord works in mysterious ways, but not today.
Getting stuck in menus and miscellaneous crashes. Oh boy. Lord knows, guys, this has happened to me. So he says some of these issues were known before the flight began and should be resolved in this upcoming patch. Others are still actively being investigated and worked on. We have plenty of documentation and support tickets around the getting stuck in a menu option, but if you encounter crashes or soft locks, please do continue to file bug tickets at the Halo support side. Thank you so much. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten stuck in a menu. I'm like, really? Is this honestly going to make me have to quit the build and restart? It's just like the silliest thing. And for whatever reason, it just seems like a 343 thing to happen. I don't know why. It's just a hilarious problem. And I'm very glad they're fixing it. All right, guys, I know that was a lot, so thank you for bearing with me and taking the time to listen to some of these updates, because this is all good stuff here. So this is how he closes out the forum post. Thank you for reading this far. These issues noted above, along with various other areas, are the reason we flight. We've made some great progress together thus far, and with this update, we're expecting to see even more improvement. But we also wanted folks to remember that even when Reach eventually does launch, our work is not done. The team has always planned to continue work on post-launch features and updates. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Stay tuned to Halo support to keep an eye on the forum and your Halo Insider email for word on the patch and any extensions to Flight 3. With that, it concludes the update that contains all this information. I'd like to reiterate what he said at the end there. Guys, if you have not been invited to the PC flight, if you've signed up to the Halo Insider program, do not lose hope yet, because as he stated earlier in this forum post, they potentially plan to add more people. It's not confirmed yet, but it is a possibility. So maintain hope. Check your spam filters. Make sure that the email you have on your Halo Insider profile is actually the correct email. Just double check all your information is accurate, because it would suck if you guys didn't get an invite and it was just because of a silly error like that. So anyways, I think that these are all fantastic changes. I'm really, really eager to see if the mouse and keyboard update makes mouse and keyboard more viable, because that's honestly my biggest criticism of this flight. Being able to bring in PC players is a huge point of Halo Reach coming to PC, and so if mouse and keyboard is like not viable or is not nearly as viable as controller, that's going to be a problem, because we want as many people as possible to start playing Halo again, and having really solidly constructed controls on mouse and keyboard and controller is really important to that vision. So that's really great to hear, and the rest of these improvements are awesome too. Again, guys, this is why they flight, to solve these problems, and so it's really good to see that they have acknowledged feedback and are fixing a lot of these things. So that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy it, leave a like, and if you're new, definitely subscribe, because I'm doing a lot more flight content, and when this eventually comes out, I'm going to be doing a ton of Halo Reach on PC content. So I will try to update you guys again once this patch comes out with my thoughts and if it feels better. But until then, thank you so much for watching. As always, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.